It's so nice to have you here as our artist in residence. And I want to know more about your background and about your the way you came to your life, as it is in many different ways, your artistic life, your personal life, how you write a lot about childhood in your texts, I notice, and I feel like you have a very warm and embracing aspect of childhood. And so I guess the first question is, can you tell a little bit about your background and what drew you to music and to art as a child?
I grew up in music because my mom was a choir conductor, and I started music from my birth, I think. But my mom spoke that never you will not musician because it's thankless profession. Yeah, but I studied in musical school, and I sang in choir and in her choir and her ensemble, and I began playing the piano maybe in 5 years old. And when I was teenager, I had my rock group. Yeah, and I like music. I liked music, and after my school, I said, my mom, okay, I will go to college, to study in college. And my mom said, no music, no. But I said, okay, I will go to study as a philosopher. And my mom said, no philosopher, music is better. And I studied in Ufa. It is Bashkiria. It's a part of Russia. It's a republic near the Ural. And I studied in Ufa College as a choir conductor, like my mom. And after this, when I was 7 years old, my mom died, and I need to work, and I went to opera theater as a choir artist, and I sang in choir. And after this, I went to St Petersburg, and I studied in St Petersburg Conservatory as an opera director, and I worked in theater in Conservatory, St Petersburg Conservatory, like a choir artist. And after I worked in Mikhailovsky Theater as a technical writer, and after stage manager and assistant director, and I staged my first opera in Conservatory, and after second opera was in Mikhailovsky Theater. It was opera for children. Yeah, and after this I went to Vladivostok, because in St Petersburg it was so difficult to work in theater like a director. A lot of old people, worked in the theater, in different theaters on chef position, and I did. I wanted to go to Vladivostok, to new theater, opera theater, and worked there like opera director, and I staged a lot of opera, like as an opera Carmen, Mazeppa, Dr. Zhivago, and a lot of different names, and History of Soldiers, for example, by Stravinsky. And after I worked in the Khabarovsky Theater as a chef director, And when was Corona, I came back to St Petersburg, and after that I went to Moscow, and I began to work like a freelancer because, for example, when I worked in Vladivostok, I worked 2 years there, and after this, Gergiev and Rimsky Theater came to this city, and Vladivostok Opera Theater became filial of Rimsky. And it was not good for us because, for example, for me, I didn't can stage a lot of operas, and I found for me other way, and I went to about it.
Why was it difficult with Gergiev coming? It became more of a kind of luxury product, or what was the change?
When Gergiev came to Vladivostok, they began to bring old opera from St Petersburg Rimsky Theater, and we cannot stage new performances. And I began to work like assistant, and for me it's not good because before I staged many operas, many different operas, and many musical and dramatic performances, and I didn't want to be only assistant. I wanted to create.
So you had more artistic autonomy before Gergiev, and after not so much.
Yeah, and it was difficult, and I think that it was, for me, it was only money because my art was stopped in this theater. Yeah. And when I came back in St. Petersburg and Moscow, I went to study in Moscow New Cinema School, in video art laboratory. And now I try to mix different genres, for example, photo, video, music, and other things.
That's one thing I wanted to ask you. When you switched from choral conducting and evolved into more of a director role, what role did music have for you when you were directing? Were you involved in the musical materials, or did you have to leave music and go to a different area of theater?
I think that no, I didn't leave music because I worked with music a lot of time from my childhood, and in Khabarovsk I worked in musical theater with operetta, with musicals, and sometimes I composed small things for me, and sometimes I composed song and music. Music with me, music in my life everywhere and every day. And I don't know what to say about it. And now I want to work with music and video and maybe actors and poetry. But music is the important part of my life. Yeah.
What was the reason for leaving Russia? Can you tell us a little bit about the circumstances that led to your decision and when you decided it was the right time to go?
I left Russia 1 year ago because war began with Ukraine, and I protested and I was arrested for my protest, and I didn't pay penalty, and I left Russia before when my when my приговор.
The sentence.
Sentence.
Before the sentence came.
Before the sentence.
So you were able to leave and
Yeah.
before you were tried.
Yeah, and I went to Germany because in this time I had a premiere of opera Via We in the theater of Regensburg, and I was a celebrity in this opera, and I can leave Russia with paper paper that I'm dramaturge and I need to go to premiere.
So you were permitted to leave because you had the work invitation.
Yeah. And together with my partner, with my girlfriend, we left Russia with our dog. And we left Russia and went to Tallinn, after to Helsinki and to Austria, and after this was only Germany. And we have friends in north part of Germany, and now we have permit there and Anmeldung.
Right. You're registered there.
Yeah, registered.
And Germany was more or less a coincidence because you had to work here. It wasn't a choice to move to Germany. Would there be another part of Europe that you would be attracted to, or do you think that you'll stay in Germany, or what is your?
No, I want to stay in Germany, but I want to live in the west part of Germany now. I live in east part, and for me it's difficult because I think that in East Germany there is post-Soviet Union consciousness and mentality, and maybe to study here.
And what were the studies?
I want, for example, my dream, I want to study in the Düsseldorf Academy of Schumann, faculty of video and music together, because I work with video and sometimes I compose music, and I like to mix this, and it will be great if I can do it, but now I need to work a lot because I have only freelancer visa, and I can do different things. And in this moment, I can be only student. I need to work.
Yeah.
And I after 3 months, I will go to Norway to residence, and I will create 2 projects for one museum and one project in residence. And after I come back, I will come back in Germany. And I want to stay here.
Yeah.
Maybe I can stay in West Germany. Yeah, because I think that Germany can give me different points and different opportunities for my development, and I can try other things, and it's not conservatory for things. I can try mixed different genres, and Germany for this art is so good, I think.
You mentioned some of the artists that influenced you. Who are the artists that you feel closest to and who influenced you the most?
Sir is my partner, and I like to go to museum, and I like to study modern art, but I like artists, writers, for example, 20th century, and sometimes I looked Namjoon Paik or Lee Krasner in Köln. I went to Ludwig Museum and I can be wondering this American modern art and not modern but 20th century. And I read a lot of different literature and for example now I don't can go to theater. I don't know why. For me it's difficult, but I try to inspire in museum and in festival. And sometimes I look for people on the street, and they inspire me too.
Do you have an idea why theater at this point is not?
No, I don't have an idea. Now, maybe I think for me it's difficult now because in Russia I have had some traumas, different traumas with theater, because I worked a lot of time in government theaters and Ministry of Department of Culture in different city was very conservatory, and they push that. Oh no, you didn't get to do new art because people. They said that people went to go to the theater for rest, and they are not think about it.
To be challenged.
Yeah, and for me it was so strange. I want to do other art, and now I don't can to opera. I don't can to go to opera, and but sometimes I go to the ballet or modern dance, or for example to theater in a bar. And now I want to create new performances maybe and new art, but I need to research and I need to find different things in Germany, and I need to look a lot for art, and maybe this art will influence for me.
When you think of particular themes, are there themes that attract you in your work? When I've been reading some of your texts, I notice certain themes come through. Are there certain themes that you keep coming back to, and that you find that you're drawing on certain themes in your work?
I think that now the important theme of my work is war, and is, I don't know, inside immigration and LGBT problems and the problems of millennial generation, because I'm millennial, and sometimes I think that millennial feel this reality other, and I want to study this problem, and this is my favorite theme in my work now, and I think that my art can be, and there is anthropocentric, and I want to speak about man, about human, about society. for me it's important thing in my work. I don't know what to say.
I want to give a chance if anybody else wants to ask any questions for Daria, and if there's anything that you're wondering about this situation. We have Daria here from a very different culture, very new in Germany. If there's any questions about what the landing is like in Germany, or any questions about the working process, or would anybody like to ask a question?
I have a couple of questions for me. Question number one is maybe it can sound pretty basic, but I don't want to say where do you see yourself in the closest future. But can you see yourself living in Germany, working and just being able to create things?
Now I write a lot of different play application, and I try to do a project for different residents, and now this is great opportunity for me, because I don't know when I can work, for example, every day.
No, this was the final question. Let's imagine everything's fine and you can stay here legally, you have permission to work, and here's one small additional question to this. Imagine that you can stay here and work. Can you like? Is it something what you want? And the second part of the question, you said that one of your main theme is millennial generation, but probably Russians. And how can you use? How can you live here, not in Russia, and use the? It's difficult to phrase the question, sorry, but I will try. So, being living on a distance from this, from your theme, from your material you want to work with, do you think it's gonna work?
I'm millennial too, and I think that I can create my art. Sometimes autobiographical, sometimes I speak about different problems with my friends who stay in Russia now, and they are millennials too. And I think that there are a difference between German millennials and Russian millennials, because but maybe sometimes it's the same situation, because when Berlin Wall fall, in Russia began freedom, maybe for only 10 years, and in this thing were the same, but after for example, I dream about democracy from my childhood, and I hope that in Russia, maybe after 10, 20 years, will be democracy, and I think that only millennials now can change the situation, because we have other consciousness, and we have other mind, and when I text or speak with my friends millennial, I can study this team in Germany, or in Norway, or in other countries. And for first question?
No, first question. If in general, how would you feel about just if you would feel comfortable staying here? I imagine that you have everything fine, the papers, documents, you have a place to live. Can you imagine yourself living with your partner, with a girlfriend here, and just if it's your place to be?
I think that now I don't want to come back to Russia. For me, Germany is so comfortable country, and I need to study German and German language and English, and I feel so good in this country because I feel my freedom, and I can live together with my partner without different laws, and this is a good country for me. And
Not only for you.
yeah, and sometimes I looked, for example, in Köln, I looked people on the street and speak about my dog because we walk, and I look open people. That people is very open, and for me it's important because maybe last 2 years I looked a lot of aggressive people in Russia, and for me it's strange, it's not good, and here I feel myself very good and happy. Maybe not happy because now there is war, but this country is better for me. And when I was child, I felt myself not good in Russia because I like foreign films. I read foreign literature, and for me it was very good. But in Russia I didn't see these things. I looked a lot of demonstration, and I went with my mom to demonstration, but I was small child, and I heard what's about democracy, about freedom, but after 10 years, this idea was finished. Yeah. And for me, it was so difficult to live in Russia, maybe 20 years. I have good friends, best friends, but I understand that this country and Europe is better for me than Russia. But I like my country, and I think now I think that my country betrayed me, and it is the biggest betrayal. And I can believe government or different people in this country. And I hope that in this country I can be more freedom, and I can feel myself. I can develop.
Any other questions?
Quiet.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Your
for
openness and for being here with us, and for it's not your first station in Germany, but it's just been quite new, and it seems like you're organizing in such a imaginative way your future, and it's really a pleasure to take part in as you figure out, having landed here and having been forced to start fresh here, the amount of fantasy and interest, excitement that you bring to the project of making the poetry work for you. So thank you so much for
Thank you very much.
spending time with us and showing us, giving us insights into this process.
Yeah, and I'm very thankful for Green Room, for you, for OT, for all people here, and because for me it's so important. And I have time for my work, for my art. Thank you.
Thank you.